Hello and welcome to a very special video. I was in fact recording another one when these things popped up. So like your first night in prison, this is going to be rough. So let's start out with the man, the myth, I have almost as many miniatures as additions, Marnius Calgar. It's him in Terminator armor, which should have been exactly what he was to begin with. If anything does not dissuade you to the idea that the Primaris were literally a pointless, stupid detour, and that the only thing they ever should have done was just simply alter up, size up, scale up, if you prefer, the entire Space Marine line and just stopped, this miniature is that. It's pretty well done. I don't hate the miniature. It makes me wonder why we've gone through this whole thing other than it was a shallow marketing device to get people to rebuy their entire army, uproot the setting into some garbage soup, and this is what we got. Overall, from a tactical standpoint, it's a very well done model. He does look like he's offended at someone's soup, or, he saw his parents doing something, or, he saw the bill for his last suit of armor and is a little bit irritated by it. Overall, it's pretty good rendition of Terminator armor. It's not, oddly enough, festooned in so much pointless bling. I hate it. Though I forget the exact title for the little Ultramarine icon that he has. I think's a little, they've been oversizing the icons that's on his chest plate there with the U on it way too much lately. I think they need to start shrinking these down and stop pretending like they need to be like birthday badges or whatever. Overall, the miniature is done well. It's not drenched in pointless detail, but again, it's built on a classic design that people love no matter what. So, thumbs up on the Marnius. Then we have to get to Meme Master himself, Cato Sicarius, or Cato Memecarius. Again, the miniature is not bad on its own. We can make jokes that he's on stairs because he's on tactical stairs. We can say all kinds of different things, but overall, it's not a bad miniature. It pays a lot of homage to the original design. The only thing that pisses me off is we have to still pretend like Tacticus was a good idea, and we have the stupid knee pads, which has always been one of the dumbest facets of this armor. But he proves one point, that GW doesn't like to give you full 360s of all the miniatures they preview, and when you actually dress these guys up to make them look like old school Space Marines, they look a million times better. Just give up on this Primaris thing, for God's sake, and just go Space Marines and bring in the old style of Mark 7 and 6s and just get off this dumb choice. Now, he has a head choice for some reason, which is him looking scally-faced because the other Ultras have already taken all of the donuts, and then him being very angry that he got his parking ticket. Overall, I'll give it a 6. It's a participation award. They're working off someone's previous homework, and honestly, that's fine. Then we get the Vitrix Guard, Honor Guard, whatever you want to call them. What can I say? One, they're in Tacticus armor because they got the stupid little ridge on the knee pads. Just stop putting that on this armor, please. But overall, they look like Vitrix Guard. They got the double crested helmet. They got their little capes. They got all of the kind of bling you expect, and they got bolt guns, or at least dressed up bolt rifles to look like original bolters. Honestly, with the scale they should just be using bolt guns. The bolt rifle just seems too tactical and pointless. They get a thumbs up. I'm not wild about the Victrix Guard, but what can you say? They look like Victrix Guard. They're probably not as good as those original ones, but that's a personal thing. And then we got their Flagman, Company Hero, and a Victrix Guard. Not much I can say. From the looks of it, we're going to get a small company command for the Ultras. They're overall decent, but I do have to say this. The level to which they have to dress these models up and the amount to which they have to make callbacks to older models, I think really does just lay on the fact that Primaris were such a stupid concept that they're now having to kind of double back without admitting it. The Victrix Guard we've talked about. The company commander, or the company champion, that's actually what it should be. Not bad. I will say the way they did the power swords is kind of like ridiculously fat. Or the blade is like insanely thick. Looks a little bit odd. Honestly, at that point, they might as well just given him 2 power mauls and just called it a day. It looks like less of a sword and more of a metal brick he's hitting someone with. My bat shall beat you. Very bling-tastic. Again, if they just started slicing off the knee ridge, I think they would help a whole lot. Because most people could just kind of squint and pretend that they're not really terrible Primaris. Also, I'm going to say this. When you design the scabbard for your sword, you should actually make it wide enough to fit the blade. From this angle, the blade looks ridiculously fat. It might be thinner, but who knows. Then the banner actually has the only actual Space Marine on it, and he's got wings. He's the thing keeping these guys around, I guess. But, I mean, can we just be honest for a second and just talk about this little issue? That we're, again, on another Calgar Marnius model, that we're putting out more Ultramarines when you've been beating us to death with Ultramarines for years at this point. And honestly, you're doing this when there's several factions that could use the attention and spotlight as opposed to giving them. Like, what about the Dark Elder? You were just previewing stuff. Why not do more of that? Give us a break from Ultramarines, aka Marines at this point. Why, if we're not going to get a break from Marines, where's the revamp for the Grey Knights? Which you'd screw up, and I'd tell you that you'd screw up, but at least you'd be trying to please another group. Honestly, there needs to be just a gigantic break, because we're going to get into a point where it's going to be like Age of Sigmar with the Sigmarines, and they're going to start having to, and I'm going to tell you this right now, they're going to start discontinuing things and removing them from the rules, and it's going to actually not just be old Space Marines, it's going to be freaking Primaris. It's probably going to be a lot of the first gen Primaris. They're going to get rid of as many of them as they can and start just leaning into more old school style Marines. So, yeah, fantastic. Well, on a design perspective, I don't think they were a bad production. I'm just going to say this. When you get on such a regular basis Ultramarines, we really just don't need a big, even semi-large Ultramarine release like this. And Lord knows that we didn't need another Marnius freaking model, except for the fact that apparently even they are ashamed of how stupid and goofy a whole host of the Primaris look. Or at least that's my only guess, because why else make that? There was a perfectly serviceable model you released a few years ago. Oh yeah, you needed to pump stocks up. Well, guys, that's my thoughts. What's yours? And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.